I took the LSAT to try to go to law school. Got
Uh-huh.
in a couple of decent law schools,
Oh, wow.
but I met a pro wrestler. WCW was closing down at the time. I met a dude that used to be in WCW, and he
Yeah.
told me about a school in Brooklyn. So
Oh,
one Wednesday night, I took the bus. Like two buses. Got there, went in. They're like, sure. At the time, I'm about 250.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're like, let's see what happens. And I fell on my back probably 200-300 times that night, learning how to fall, because that's
Yeah.
in wrestling, you learn how to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to do this.
All right, folks, buckle up. Because for the very first episode of the Playbook, we're kicking things off with a man whose story hits harder than a finishing move. He's a powerhouse, a trailblazer, and the final ECW champion in WWE history. You might know him as Ezekiel Jackson, but today we get to meet the man behind the muscle, Rycklon Stephens. From humble beginnings to standing under the bright lights with championship gold around his waist, Rycklon's journey is one of grit, sacrifice, and some serious soul searching. In this episode, we dive into the moment he knew wrestling was more than a dream, what it felt like walking backstage as Intercontinental Champion, and whether the spotlight brought peace or pressure. This just isn't a wrestling story, it's a life story. Let's get into it. All right, so as I bring to the stage, Rycklon Stephens. How's it going, my man?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on.
Oh,
It's an amazing
absolutely.
opportunity. Appreciate you, man.
Oh, no. So the fun part is as I reflect, I'm like, man, I went to school with some amazing people.
Yeah.
But just to get our listeners, the reason why I was excited to have you, one, again, I don't know how many people know your story, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about born in Guyana, which is, ironic because in this day of, whatever's happening in our federal government, born in Guyana, migrates to Brooklyn, goes to a public high school in Brooklyn, we end up going to college together.
Yeah.
Was maybe for a week or two we're on the football team together.
I made it through spring ball.
Right? And then fast forward and you're in everyone's living room.
Yeah.
Everyone's living room. And for me, I know people know Ezekiel Jackson.
Yeah.
Right? They see the champion, but for me it's just like this man grew up the way I grew up. And I just have questions. So I guess the first question you always get asked is like, what led you into wrestling?
Oh man. So being from Guyana,
Yeah.
it was like we had a half a day, which was few and far in between.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a neighbor that allowed the kids to watch wrestling through their window because we didn't own a TV.
Okay.
Trying to explain that to my kids is not.
They're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get it. They're not gonna, they're
I
not
saw
gonna know what an
wrestling.
outhouse is. They're not gonna know none of that.
So I told them, like, I was able to show them the house
Mhm.
that I saw wrestling at for the first time.
Oh,
And
wow.
literally it was through a window from outside into the person's house like this.
Oh, wow.
Because they were, during the day, they didn't let the kids in the house. Kids were
Mhm.
dirty.
Yeah.
Practically half naked with
Mhm.
underwears and no shoes or shirt on. And I just remember seeing a wrestler by the name of Iceman Parsons. He was a black dude. He had these stringy hair.
Yeah.
And he beat the guy up, but he did dance also. So at that time, Mike Tyson was on a tear.
Mm-hmm.
We knew about Mike Tyson, but I'm like, this dude looked like he's having a lot of fun. And, so fast forward, I told my brother, I found out my brother's, at the time, brother-in-law watched wrestling. He had a TV at his house. So my weekend was get my chores done on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
get my chores done Saturday, then I
Mhm.
can walk to my brother's house where he stayed and spent Saturday night to watch wrestling on Sunday. And that's how it started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's crazy, I grew up a huge wrestling fan. Me and my brother.
Yeah.
So, my brother's not going to hear this, but we've had, I think, 325 bouts inside our house, right? So the way the weightlifting belt, it used to be
Yeah.
brown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we would just flip it around, put a little championship right on it, and
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
had 325 bouts. I am 325-0.
Nice.
Right?
How old is he? One?
Very fun. But he wouldn't stop. He just
Yeah.
always wanted a shot. But we grew up with Macho Man,
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate Warrior, Junkyard Dog,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sergeant Slaughter, and it just mesmerized us. But at not one moment did we think this was a future for us.
Gotcha.
So I'm curious, at what moment did you actually realize? I know you fell in love with it, but when
Yeah.
did you realize
So
I
I
can
fell in
do
love
this?
once
Yeah.
we came to this country, and most of my family, if you see us in the pictures, you'd be like, "Who's the oddball?" That's me. My brothers are 5'8", 5'9", maybe 5'10". They'll claim 5'11". So I started working out with the hopes of bodybuilding, personal training.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Never thought I'd be tall enough, in a sense, to be, because you thought the guys there were 6'5" and 300 pounds, and you know what I mean. The guys that I liked was Dino Bravo, Don Morocco,
Yes,
Bad News Brown. You know what I mean?
that's my guy right there.
So I'm like, I'm seeing these really big dudes. I never thought that was a possibility until high school, when I'm lifting weights, I'm gaining muscles, I'm getting taller. I'm like, oh, this is a possibility.
Oh wow!
And I
In
got
high
a
school.
chance in high school. I got a chance to befriend. He's currently on AEW. His name is Prince Nana. Um, we went to John Dewey together, and
Yeah.
he had his first match like my senior year, and I went and watched, and I was like, I want to do this. And
Oh wow!
he literally just had a battle royal, but I'm like, I went home excited. I'm like, Mom, I need $3,000 to sign up for this wrestling school. Literally, my mom we called her G, and she was like, "You're going to college."
Okay, okay,
um,
okay.
so I was about 100. I graduated high school as 190 pounds, maybe 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I got to UB, and all I did was work out and ate.
I know that. I know that. I know
So,
that.
and that's where everybody's like, "Oh, you play football?" I'm like, "No, but I could try." And that's where,
Mm-hmm. We did our
frankly, a lot of the friends on Facebook are still dudes from that team. I
yeah.
never made football. I didn't know football.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know football. So had they said, "Hey, maybe you could try the D line," maybe I probably had a better chance. But linebacker,
Yeah, that's a tough pill. But let me
yeah,
ask you a question then,
yeah,
because contrary to what people may say, wrestling is athleticism and it is highly dangerous,
yes,
right? Like,
hmm
yes, there's some choreograph, but you still have to deliver blows and take
yeah.
blows. Which one do you think is a little bit more volatile? I never asked this question.
In what sense?
Football,
Football,
football
football.
versus wrestling.
Okay, wrestling, usually most injuries happens on an accident.
Mm-hmm.
It's never intentional. Like,
Yeah,
because you want to, in a sense, this person can make money with you. You're going in there. You
yeah,
may not like the person or
yeah,
whatever, but if you can make money together, putting on
yeah.
a good match, you're
Gotcha.
going to work with this person. So you don't try to hurt nobody, because if you
Yeah.
hurt somebody, then you're known as the guy that hurt people. So
Mm,
nobody's going to want to work with you.
yeah, yeah.
So you want to protect yourself, but so most of my injuries were from accidents. Whereas in football, it's football. It's
It's inevitable.
accidental, but
Yeah.
there's times where dudes are coming like back.
No, it's intentional.
Yeah,
There's bad intentions.
yeah.
Like
So
we're
there's a
not
lot
trying to
of
make
and
we're
that's
not,
not with
yeah,
wrestling at all.
we're not trying to make money together. Person, that's not our mentality.
You're on
It's
the opposite side of me. You're trying to hurt that person.
you listen. Even if we're on the same team,
Yeah,
one of my good friends, he almost made a pro. We were in high school, and I tell people the story all the time. He was a very close friend.
yeah,
But we were on the same team. It was in camp. He's a linebacker. I'm a receiver. He's looking one way. I'm trying to crack. And
yeah,
I went full steam. I was like, I'm about to concuss him. And again, now that I'm older, you realize the mentality is a little bit
yeah. It's
warped,
different. Yeah,
right? But fast forward, you ask your mom, your Caribbean mother, your Indo-Caribbean mother,
yeah.
for $3,000. I can only imagine what she really said. You know what I mean? With
By
the
that time, she stopped cussing, so we didn't.
okay, but you know, Guyanese have the patois and
She was very Christian. She was a deaconess in the church, so
okay,
there's a lots of prayers.
yeah,
But
but
it came out that you were going to probably be one of the only ones to go to church. I was the youngest of the bunch.
yeah,
Not go to church, go to school, go to college, graduate. So that's when, okay, I'll do this college thing and see
hmm
what comes. And that's where I ended up at UB. I did 4 years. I took the LSAT to try to go to law school. Got
uh-huh.
in a couple of decent law schools,
Oh wow,
but I met a pro wrestler. WCW was closing down at the time. I met a dude that used to be in WCW, and he
yeah,
told me about a school in Brooklyn. So
oh
one Wednesday night, I took the bus. Like two buses, got there, went in. They're like, sure. At the time, I'm about 250.
50? Yeah,
You know what I mean? And they're like, let's see what happens. And I fell on my back probably 300 times that night, learning how to fall because that's
yeah,
in wrestling, you learn how to fall.
hmm
And I was like, I want to do this.
wow,
Literally, I kept on personal training. I started acting to pave my way.
yeah.
I focused on wrestling.
I remember seeing you. I think it was in the Lord of the Rings. Were you in the Lord of the Rings? Like as one of those? Okay, I could have sworn. But
No.
anyway, what? So
So I did a lot of national commercials. In New York, it was big for commercials.
gotcha.
Like I got an agent, my current wife. My current wife.
I was about to say current.
My wife
Yeah,
currently.
I'll edit this out.
Um, my wife, she got me into acting. We met. We started dating like a year after I got into wrestling,
hmm
and she was like, "Dude, you got a great look." I already taking pictures and stuff like that, so she helped me find agents, and that's how, like I was able to make money to the point where I didn't have to work. I
And
just
then you
worked
could
as a
focus
personal
on
trainer. I worked as a
yeah.
personal trainer. I acted and I wrestled, and that
Okay.
was my life for a year until I got signed to the WWE, basically.
So let's talk about let's talk about at least say a little time in the college because there's always in entrepreneurship and this thinking and the pursuing the dream. This is why we call it the playbook, right?
Yeah,
Because we're giving people a
my playbook. I got you.
did you have any internal tension saying, I'd rather wrestle, but am I wasting my time here in school where I'd rather just do this? You know, in
So
hindsight,
at
mhm,
that time, The Rock was top of the game. I think on campus,
yeah.
we only had Raw.
Yep.
SmackDown was you had to be off campus. So my
hmm
senior year, when I got to see both, that's when I see Raw, The Rock, see Stone Cold. That was during the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could do this, but I understood the importance of getting a degree.
Okay.
For me, because I went there to do computer engineering,
Yeah.
and the first day of classes, I heard womp womp womp. I walked out. I was like, I went to my counselor. I don't know his name, but he's like, "What do you like?" I'm like, "I love the human body." He's like, "All right, let's look into exercise science," and that's
Gotcha.
where I kind of went there. But I did not want to do dissecting a human during the
Yeah.
summer,
Uh-huh.
so we kind of packaged that up with early childhood and sociology.
Ah, okay.
So, and my love for kids also is always there. I'm like, if I could make the right amount of money teaching, I'd probably teach kids right now.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like that's where my early childhood I end up. So we kind of packaged that
Mhm.
exercise science and that
Mhm.
early childhood. So that's why I feel I'm pretty good with kids when I train. I train from 10 to 83.
I know I saw you training your son and
Oh, that's awesome.
kudos to your son because I think I forgot is he at Cal?
He's at Cal Berkeley, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw because because we all in the same circle. I saw
Yeah.
from when he first started lifting, and then I was like, "Oh, we all
Yeah.
lifted." As a
Yeah.
football player, I lifted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, "Holy shoot, this is a monster!" And I think that's his nickname, right?
Monster, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, "This is dope." But so now, because we hear the stories, you
Yeah.
see this behind the scenes. Um, what were some of the tough decisions you had to make as you were pursuing your dream and your passion? You got to a point you said, "I want to do this," and
Um,
what are some of these big moments where you had to say,
So the first big moment came was packing up from New York and moving to LA.
That's a big one.
I told my wife I want to act, but I also knew at the time there's a company out there called UPW
Mm-hmm.
that launched Cena and a couple of other guys at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to get in LA. I want to act,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be able to pursue this wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Somebody, when I got out there, I think I contacted somebody on MySpace.
That's a term. Go ahead.
And, but the dude was like, "Hey, we're doing this show this weekend. Come down. We'll get you tickets. Come in." I went in and met the owner,
Uh-huh.
and he told me, "Hey, we got something set up with the WWE coming up." Where they at the time WWE is trying to do what they're doing now, which is trying to have different camps in different areas. So they were looking at California. So I think that was what was on the list. But he told me you have to be here twice. You have to commit to twice a week at least. I had to drive to San Clemente, which is without traffic 40 minutes, with traffic an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So every Wednesday, down and up, 4 hours in the car. We're there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
But I was at the time also working for the Home Depot. I'm like, needed insurance, needed a solid check.
Yeah.
And this was, again, that decision was, I told my wife, I want to give this a shot. Give me 6 months. You know what I mean? At the time, they won't allow me to take Wednesdays off at the Home Depot. They're like, we can't choose. I'm like, I'm in a department at the time where the supervisor didn't work Sundays, and another guy in the department didn't work Sundays because he was a Christian. I'm like, I'm a Christian, but I'm here Sundays. I'm willing to close every Sunday because I want to go to church in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That was the deal we made. But then a new HR guy came in. He's like, I can't give you Wednesdays off. And I quit. I called my wife. I was like, I think I just quit the Home Depot. But I want to give me 6 months. In the meantime, I'll do whatever it takes to earn money. So I was clubs, I was personal training. But going back on your faith, my faith, I know that I blocked God's blessing when I moved to LA and went to work for the Home Depot. I told God, I said, hey, I want to move to LA to act. But I went and worked at the Home Depot. But as soon as I quit the Home Depot, my wife and I booked at least 8 national commercials between the two of us.
Yeah.
So God was like, you came here for this.
Gotcha.
And you told me you want to do this. And I brought you here. You got an apartment in the right area, everything. Your mom, your grandma, your mother-in-law could come down and take care of kids. So we had all these access, but I got scared. And again, you're 25-year-old, a 1-year-old baby, you're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
But once I quit that, things just started building. But in the 5th month, I got my offer for WWE. So wife, yeah.
So that's amazing, and thank you for sharing the fact that you actually had fear, right?
Yeah.
Because
Dude.
Especially for people like us, the way we were raised, and and you were a parent, so there's a huge responsibility. But at some point, there is that, to your point, there's a crossroad where it's, if I don't do this, I may never do this, right? Yeah. And I can't let the fear, which is in my head, stop me from what I really can accomplish.
Yeah.
So I know you did various different camps in wrestling, right? And so I know WWE had bought out ECW.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to me about how it was when you finally got onto the stage and you finally got to be one of the people that you've seen. I know you started off as a bodyguard and then transitioned into a main act, but talk to a little bit about like what are some things that you were like, wait a minute, this is different, or this is everything I dreamed of?
It was a shock, because when they hire you, first of all, you're like, okay, I'm about to make money. And it's like, I'm making less than I'm making as a professional trainer and bouncer. Thankfully, my wife and I had a nest egg from the commercials. But I was like, let's see how this goes. I'm like, I had to explain. For me, I had to explain to myself, like, this is like me getting paid to go to medical school.
So yeah, I get what you're saying.
I had to approach it. It was like, I'm getting paid to become a doctor or a pro wrestler. So, but what they do is they take you and they first of all moved us to Georgia, Atlanta. Thankfully, my brother-in-law lived there at the time. He was like, bring my nephew, you guys come I have 2 extra rooms. So we didn't have to worry about that. But we were there for a month, then the school shut down. And they're like, you may be in Louisville or you may be in Tampa. So, you know what I mean? So that was that time where you're like, okay, well, at least the check's coming every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're lifting weights. I'm watching the show, and we ended up in Tampa. And again, another shock was our first practice was in a baseball hitting cage, batting.
Yeah.
We had 2 rings up. People will come and be batting in the cage next to us. So I'm like, this is WWE, huh? Again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's a little bit of dirtiness before we,
I'm like, the check is clearing. I'm seeing the wrestlers. I'm seeing the people. I'm training with Dr. Tom. I'm training with Steve Kern. Billy Kidman came down. So we had people that was WWE, but it's like, you know, then we moved from there to a warehouse where we got 3 rings set up, but they were moving corn and green peas and stuff from the next. They ended up redoing the place in probably about a year to give us our own space. But that was that beginning. What they do within that time is they want to strip the stuff that they don't want from you. So all the bad habits you may develop on the indies, they want to strip that away from you. They want to make you television ready, so that you have to learn how to work to a camera, learn how to listen to the crowd, learn how to speak into a mic. So that's what the preparation was.
Oh, wow.
So fast forward to 2008, a good friend of mine that used to train me at UPW had a friend there, which was Brian Kendrick. And Kendrick was there one day, and I came in, hey, man, you know, every time I see you, I got to say, Lil Nate, you know, and when he texts me, he always says, say, what's up? He's like, the reason I'm here is for you. I was like, huh? He's like, we found like a bathroom, and he's like, they sent me here for someone else, but I prefer bringing you up because I see something different in you. He chose me, and that's where he was like, what do you want to do? I was like, Suge Knight. At the time, you know what I mean? So that's where the cigar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the inspiration behind Ezekiel.
That was Suge Knight for there. The name, I was at lunch, and the writer came up and said, you're Ezekiel. Like, okay. The next day, they came back, they're like, you're Ezekiel Shabazz. I'm like, huh? I'm like, I'm a Jewish Muslim?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's weird. He came back and he gave me a list. I was like, Jackson. Because again, going back to the 80s, Action Jackson.
Yeah, that's my Carl Weathers. That's my guy.
So that's where that name came from. The name Rycklon, I know Triple H loved it. I know Stephanie loved it. But Vince saw money in Ezekiel. He also didn't want to pay for Rycklon.
Yeah.
So it's a business. I understood what it was. And that's where we ended up with me being with Kendrick, me getting on TV. And when we separated, the ECW thing took over. I was doing back and forth with, his name was Vladimir Kozlov. We were just destroying people every day. I beat somebody, he'd come and just destroy him. The next week, he'd beat somebody, come out and just destroy him. Then we ended up teaming up, and that's where we led to the ECW Championship. But
wow,
I mean, just being there, man, it's like you're in the locker room. At my first day at TV, I walk in, and at the time, I'm a big MVP fan. MVP's in the locker room. You know what I mean? Some of the guys I knew from local, Kendrick is there, Undertaker is there, Triple H is there. I'm like,
the Undertaker.
You know what I mean? So I'm like,
that's huge.
In my head, I'm like, do I belong here? Like literally.
Yeah.
Edge. And Edge MVP, like I took out the clothes. I had the full red Suge Knight thing and the linen, and MVP was like, go with the white. Helped. That night, we were practicing our match, and Edge was like, if he does something to this person, it kills that person and it kills him. Don't let him do anything for a month. Just look mean. That's how my first month went. But 2 people fed into me, and I just took it and ran with it.
Yeah, and that's how it is. And so one of the things that you said, and I really want to draw attention to it because you brought up the fear before, right?
Yeah.
And then you even brought up some sense of imposter syndrome, but there is a level of pushing through
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So take me to the night where a young boy from Guyana, a teenager from Brooklyn, a
yeah.
public high school, not even one of the best ones, just a public high school,
Hey, we were good
is
at
now is
it.
standing at the center of WWE global entity
Yeah,
as Intercontinental Champion. And when we grew up, that
yeah.
was the
That was it.
second bit. You
Yeah,
know, it was
the
the
world
world
WWE.
champion, but you know the Intercontinental was the next one up.
He was a workhorse.
So like, what was that night for you?
So we were chasing for a while. I was chasing Wade for a while because we were in the same group.
Mm-hmm.
We got to DC. He's like, okay, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. It was Father's Day.
Mm.
A year earlier, I buried my dad.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? I buried my dad April 3rd, 2010. This is 2011 Father's Day. So everybody is saying, again, this is one of those fear aspect that I think one of the questions you were going to ask. Everybody's like, dude, this is Father's Day. You buried your dad. Like Teddy Long said, this is Father's Day. He's like, don't read that. They give me this promo to remember. And first of all, my memory sucks when it comes to promos. Probably that's why my career wasn't as long as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, dude, just cut this real promo. And I got in there, won the championship, and I remember the promo, and I talked it through with Jerry King Lawler. Absolutely no impact. I'm happy because it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
I just won like a championship that I'm like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon. You know what I mean? Ahmed Johnson. Like these are names we knew that was holding this, and I'm looking there. But in my head was like, did I drop the ball on that promo? So I really didn't enjoy it as much as because in my head I came back, they were already moving on. I'm like, I walked, you know what I mean? So I wanted to enjoy it more, but I didn't do the thing that I thought I should have did.
Mm-hmm.
And the stuff that I probably planned and I just didn't do it. So that was one of those.
If you can get it back, you would have.
Yeah, I would have just gone for it and see what happened.
Yeah, right. What? And that's another thing. And again, those who are listening, because we're hearing your journey, but even in that, there's moments of, you know, if I can go back, go for it, because you know, YOLO, as the young people used to say, right? So I know I had a few questions. So when you did become the champion, right? And I know the framework you just told us. Was it more pressure or more, you know, enjoyment, right?
I think I thought, again, I wish I did what I could have done.
Mm-hmm.
But I also realized that based on what happened in the past, this means they see something in me. And I'm expecting this trajectory.
Yeah.
And I think I had a couple of just random matches. And then I started feuding with Cody. So I'm like, okay, we worked, you know, live events at the time. We do 4 shows a week. If you're on TV on SmackDown, which was Tuesday, you work Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday you have TV.
Yeah,
that's what every year. That's how it was at the time. So Cody and I worked all over the place. So in my head, though, I'm like, Cody's my first challenge. Then after this, next thing is whoever comes. But then I dropped the title to Cody. I'm like, okay, maybe they want Cody to do this. In my head, I'm expecting the other big championship. And when it didn't come, again, I went into, like, I could tell now that I don't know if it was depression or what it was, but I wasn't there. My body was there, but that fervor for pro wrestling wasn't there. Because I feel like they're dropping the ball on me. I feel like I dropped the ball. So a lot of questions in myself
Yeah.
that came there. So it was, I was expecting more, and that's where I guess the expectations kind of got me,
Gotcha.
because it didn't hit what I thought it would have hit. Looking back now again, I would never change. If I could go back to that one promo, I probably would.
Yeah.
But God has blessed me as, again, a little snotty nosed kid from Guyana, win ECW Championship, win an Intercontinental Championship, seen the whole world,
Mm-hmm.
wrestle in front of millions of people, wrestle in front of 84,000 people
Mm-hmm.
live. And if there's not much I would change. Again, that promo might have made something different, might have pissed somebody off,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't know because it is a subjective company.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I could have think like I should have done this and it would have changed something, but I could
Yeah.
have done that and be like, I dropped the title the next night back to Ray. You know what I mean? So I don't know. So that's just where I stand right
All right. So you mentioned being all over the world, right? You're recognizable. There's action figures of you in Walmart,
now.
right?
Yes.
But you're married, raising children. How do you stay grounded? Because what we see, because I've never wrestled,
Yeah.
it's a grueling schedule. At least back in the day,
Yeah.
365 days a year. You're wherever they send you, you have to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
How do you stay grounded? How do you not lose Rycklon Stephens in this process? Um,
It's
go ahead.
it's hard to hold on to Rycklon Stephens because you become Ezekiel Jackson.
Mm,
'Cause from the time I'd get home and my son, who at the time would see me on TV, would take his clothes off and have his diaper on, and we have to wrestle for like an hour straight. Ezekiel Jackson versus J Rock had to
yeah,
go. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
My daughter with
I
my
love that
daughter.
though.
So we like every day I was home, I had to wrestle with him.
Mm,
My wife wants to go out to dinner, but I'm like, dude, I've eaten out every day for the last 5 days. So there's friction there. Because she just wants
hmm
to go out. She wants to go to the
Yeah,
hotel. I'm like,
yeah.
yes, hotel. You know what I mean?
hmm
So I feel like now that I can reflect, it's like God was like, you could save your marriage or you can pursue this thing. And I think
Mm.
he just made it a clean break for me so that I could save my marriage.
Yeah, you know what? That's
Be,
that,
be,
that's very
be,
honest.
be a like, you know what I mean? Because when my contract ended, in my head, I'm like, you get a renewal every 3 years.
hmm
And I'm here home. Like, I didn't get a phone call a month before. I'm like, okay, the week before. This is Mania. I'm like, I'm not even flown out to Mania. I'm like, I
Mm,
call him, like, you coming to Mania? No, nope. The night of Mania, I'm like, dude, is my contract ending? He's like, basically. Like, that's all I got. It wasn't
wow.
like, it wasn't usually you
Yeah,
get a phone call, hey, Rick, we're not going to renew your contract. We wish you the best.
yeah.
None of that happened. It was basically like, oh, you could start promoting yourself as a entity, FKA Ezekiel Jackson.
Mm,
So, but again, I got to live my dream, man.
yeah,
I would not, again, there were a few things, but overall, I was blessed, man.
yeah.
I wouldn't change anything.
So what's interesting is I'm getting ready to do a live recording with
Mhm.
the owner of Nearest Tavern in Jamaica, Queens.
Okay.
Nearest Tavern is the longest standing historical tavern in all of New York City. It's
Okay.
200 years old,
Wow.
right?
Okay.
Historical landmark. And our whole topic is um basically the cost of
Hmm.
success,
Yeah.
because everybody wants the success.
Yep.
Everybody wants to hold that championship belt,
Yep.
right? But when you are a husband, father, employer,
Hmm.
no one talks about the price that's paid
Yeah.
behind the scenes to get there. No one talks about falling on your back 300 times. No one talks about going to wrestle in places that we're practicing. It's like, what is this? Which
Yeah.
might be embarrassing, saying, hey, you know what? I got to stick to the process. And then there's
Trust the
always, it
process.
sounds like what I'm getting from you is there's always a decision point
Yeah.
in this dream where we're saying, Are we going full blown, or is there something else more important now? Where
Yeah.
am I in my stage of
Yeah.
life?
Yeah.
Because I think everyone faces that.
Yeah.
I was an entrepreneur. My kid was young, and I said, I can't miss these days.
Yeah.
But I have my counterparts, and I respect them. I gotta go make this money because I gotta, right. So there's always these decisions. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's
I'm
and
glad
that
you said
again,
that.
that's life in general.
Of course.
We're again Caribbean people. I saw my dad work. I was there when my dad got sick. So my dad got sick the day before Thanksgiving, like 3 months or 4 months after we got to this country. So then he's home sickly. My mom had to work, and she was working 60-hour weeks.
Yep.
Decision made. I had to learn to cook. I had to learn to clean. I had to learn to grocery shop. I learned laundry as a 12-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is just life in general, where you get to a point and you have to make a choice, and you'll pay some price for it. But in the end, if you chose, I mean, I trust God to a level that I would never. I mean, I don't doubt him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So when he shows up, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's ever hidden, but when it's time, when he's got me on a pause or a wait, I
Mm-hmm.
just let it run. So I just think that's where we are, as in general, where life is for
All right. So I got two more questions and then I'll let you go. One of the questions is, because again, I played college football for
me.
4 years, right? And two ACL surgeries, separated both my shoulders, chipped bones in my elbow, pulled a glute muscle, which is the weirdest type of thing to pull, right?
Yeah, yeah, it
um,
happens.
and it was the injuries that eventually said you can't do this anymore,
Gotcha.
right? You just can't. Was there ever a point for you, right? Because I hear the joy. Was there ever a point where you said, "My mind and my body can't take this anymore"?
The funny thing is, like, I announced recently that I was going to get back into wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, reason being, I didn't go out on my terms.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't injured.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't burnt out.
Mm.
Like I said, I felt like God put me on a pause to protect the most important thing that He knew that I've always wanted, which is to be a married man with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my wife, I've always wanted to be married. Like that
Yes.
from the age of 17, every girl that I've dated, I was looking for a wife.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was in Germany. Um, I had a match with their champion, and he thought he could punk me around, which I'm the nicest person in the world until you try to
Mm-hmm.
disrespect
Mm-hmm.
me. And he's calling this stuff like he's going to do this to me and he's going to pick me up. At the time, I'm 285 pounds. I'm like, you're not picking me up. I'm like, doesn't make sense to me. But he's the champion. And
Mm-hmm.
every time I'd counter, he'd say, "Oh, I don't understand. I'm German. I don't speak English." I'm like, okay. So we get up in the match and he tries to call this stuff. And I literally just beat him up for like 10 minutes straight.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't give him a chance to do anything because I'm like, you're not going to overpower me. You want to fight? We can fight. I've been in a few fights.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I worked it. I never hurt him or anything like that, but everything he tried, I just stopped it and beat him up, beat him up. I hit the post. I told him to cover me. He beats me. I left mad. He was mad. So next night we were supposed to face each other again. He did not get in the ring with me. So we did a 3-on-3 match. The guy, I think, now looking back, I think the guy had Asperger's, but he was a wrestler. So we
Wow.
flexed off and we were doing fun. Not the guy, the champion, another kid.
Yeah.
I'm having fun in this match.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the match, we go back, and I said, in the German locker room, if this was my last match, that's the way I want to go out.
Oh, okay.
And literally, before I got to the airport that night, Twitter says Ezekiel Jackson announces retirement. Literally, that like I said, if this was my last
Yeah.
match,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's the kind of match I want to have fun. Wrestling
Yeah.
is fun for me. Like I
Yeah.
could do the serious stuff, I could do the intense stuff, but to have a fun back and forth match where
Yeah.
the audience is into it the whole time and enjoying that, like that. And so I got home. It was like 5th of July. I was in Germany for July 4th of July weekend, I got home. We came to visit my mother-in-law. She wasn't doing well. I
Sure.
told my wife, if we need to, we can. I'm done. I could move.
Gotcha.
I was in Lucha Underground at the time,
Yeah.
and I reached out to them. And I was like, I don't want to just be a wrestler. I'm like, I would like to be a producer. I want my name written and stuff. And they're like, basically, we only see you as a wrestler. I was like, ooh, my contract just ended.
There you go.
And that's how it was. So I chose to come back. We moved into my mother-in-law's house to take care of her. We've always wanted to be up here because I wanted my kids to go to the schools up here. My wife's high school, both my kids was able to go there. My daughter went for middle and high school. My son went for high school. And it's just, the area is just amazing. So I wanted to be here. It kind of just forced me to get here. And now with me saying I want to wrestle again, people think it is some form of desperation. I'm like, no, my business is doing amazing. I have flexibility now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? One of my first clients, she's like, it takes 5 years for your business to be solidified. And I'm at the 7th year mark now, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
There's ups and downs, but my business is continuously flowing.
Gotcha.
So there was never man, my body is done with wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm burnt out with wrestling. I'm still a fan. Sorry.
Got you.
I apologize.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So it was never one of those moments where it's like my body is done. I hate wrestling. I'm a fan. I'll sit down and watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I'm still a fan, especially seeing some of the guys I helped get up there. Some of the guys that I used to see on the Independents when they would come backstage and they're all making a name for themselves. And you know what I mean? To see Roman to where he got, I'm one of the first in the ring with him. He punched me hard in the head, and I was like, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guys that was there with me still doing it. Drew, Sheamus, like I'm still a fan.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So it's not, I'm never going to be burnt out with wrestling.
Oh, that's dope. I'm Coach Rod. Thanks for tuning in to The Playbook. If you got value from this episode, like, comment, and subscribe. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Catch you next time.